Have you ever felt a strange, almost uncontrollable urge to buy a new dress or a new suit for no apparent reason, with no event scheduled, no visible occasion, as if something inside you were preparing you for something your mind cannot yet see? It is not a coincidence, it is not vanity, it is not merely the fleeting desire of a tired soul. It is a sign that comes from above, from the highest throne, from the place where your story is already written before you even read the next page of it. And what is happening right now in the spiritual realm regarding your life explains exactly why this urge has manifested with such force and such insistence in recent days, in recent weeks, perhaps in recent months. There is a game being played in layers that most people cannot perceive. A game where every physical movement hides a spiritual order, and every desire that seems banal may, in fact, be an instruction coming directly from the Father. When heaven decides to summon one of its own, when the celestial throne signs the invitation to a celebration of honor, he does not send a visible letter to your door. He moves the heart. He unsettles the spirit. He places before your eyes the piece of clothing that seems to call your name. You walk by a shop window and your eyes lock. You open your phone, and that image appears 3, 4, 5 times in a row. You dream of a specific garment, in a specific color, in a specific style, and you cannot get it out of your head. Think with me, chosen one. What if this urge that visited you in recent weeks, this seemingly senseless impulse to seek out a new, special, different outfit, were exactly the proof that a celebration of honor is already being prepared for you in the invisible dimensions? You are not just someone walking through the store by chance. You are someone being dressed by the Almighty Himself for the hour that is approaching. And that hour is much closer than you imagine. Because in the Bible, whenever the Almighty summoned someone for a greater honor, He first changed their garments. Job was taken from prison and dressed in fine clothes before ascending to the throne of Egypt. The lost son received the best robe from the Father before the banquet was served. The bride, in Revelation, is dressed in fine linen before the wedding of the Lamb. Esther was prepared for months, anointed and dressed in royal garments, before entering the presence of the king and changing the destiny of an entire people. The new garment was never just fabric. It was always a sign, it was always a protocol of heaven. It was always an advance announcement of a turning point that was already written in the book of your life. But chosen one, before I continue revealing the next signs of this celestial summons, I need to tell you something essential. Because this urge for new clothes is not the problem in itself. It is only the visible layer of something much larger, moving in the invisible. You are being led by forces that most do not even know exist. And while heaven stitches your garment, there are other forces trying to delay this celebration, confuse the sign, and divert you from the invitation that has already been signed up there. That is why I prepared a powerful ebook for you, the manual of those chosen by the Almighty to protect the family. This ebook is not just reading, it is a map that shows exactly how to identify the signs that heaven sends before great turning points, including this sign of new clothing, the sign of inexplicable urges, the sign of the shop windows that stop you in the middle of your path. It reveals the rules of this invisible game that no one told you about, who is playing against your honor, what traps try to sabotage your celebration before it arrives, and what to do to arrive ready at the exact moment of the summons. This ebook was written for those who have awakened enough to understand that these urges are not chance, and that each sign needs correct interpretation before the window of time closes. The link is pinned in the first comment, at the very top of the comments for this video, but I must warn you, this type of content rarely remains available for long. What is written on these pages challenges narratives that many have an interest in keeping intact, and there have already been real attempts to silence this knowledge before it reached people like you. Do not wait for the right moment. The right moment is now, chosen one, because you did not come to this video by accident. Download it now and comment below, "I am chosen and I will download the ebook." This comment is your act of faith. It is the sign that you are ready to receive the next layer of revelation. Now that you have decided to act, the next truth will explain exactly why the color of the clothing that has been catching your attention carries a profound meaning that very few know. Because, listen closely, when heaven prepares a garment for one of its own, the color is never a detail. The color is a message. The color is a code. The color is the type of honor that is being woven for you in the invisible. If the clothing that insists on appearing in your thoughts is white, it is because heaven is calling you to a position of renewed purity, of a total fresh start, of a baptism into a completely new phase of your history. If it is golden or has gold details, it is because royal honor is being prepared, a position of authority you have never held in your entire life. If it is deep blue, it is because heavenly protection is descending upon your life, and the celebration will be marked by the visible presence of guardian angels around you. If it is red or has red details, it is because a victory over ancient enemies is being sealed, and you will appear dressed in glory before those who doubted, those who laughed, those who said your time would never come. If it is green, it is because prosperity, multiplication, and abundance will be the theme of this approaching celebration. And if it is black with a shine, pay very close attention, because black in the heavenly protocol means spiritual authority, a position of priesthood, someone who will speak and be heard in the highest dimensions of the kingdom. The color that calls to you is the type of honor that awaits you. But there is something even deeper, chosen one, something that goes beyond color. And this is exactly where I need to return to a crucial point, because understanding the color is only one layer. There is a level of revelation that does not fit into a few minutes of video. There is knowledge that needs to be absorbed in silence, read in prayer, and meditated upon line by line. And the e-book manual for those chosen by the Almighty to protect the family is exactly that bridge. This e-book teaches in depth all the colors of the heavenly protocol, all the fabrics, all the symbols that appear in the clothing in the dreams of the chosen, and especially what each detail reveals about the type of honor being prepared for your entire family. It also shows you what rises against this honor, the envy of those who cannot stand to see you dressed in glory, the spiritual traps that try to prevent you from reaching the celebration with the right clothes on the right day, the words launched by bitter mouths that seem innocent but carry an intention of delay. This e-book was made for those who have already understood that there are invisible battles, and that winning these battles is what separates the one who arrives dressed from the one who arrives naked at the time of the celebration. The link is pinned in the first comment, at the top of the comments. But be aware, this content challenges what is taught out there, and for that reason, they have already tried to silence it before on more than one occasion. Do not leave it for later, chosen one. Download it now and comment again. I am chosen and I will download the ebook. Each comment of yours is a seal, a pact, a confirmation in the spiritual plane. Now, with this pact renewed, I can deliver the next revelation to you. And it is perhaps the most disturbing of all, because it involves the exact moment when this clothing must be worn by the first time. Because pay attention to one thing that no one will tell you clearly. The garment sent by heaven has a specific day to be worn for the first time. It is not just any moment. It is not just any occasion. It is not any common midweek meeting. The garment of heavenly summoning is kept for the day when the invitation finally manifests in the physical plane. And that day, chosen, arrives in a way you do not expect. It could be a phone call that changes your life. It could be a door opening where you were no longer even knocking. It could be an invitation arriving from someone you did not expect, offering a place you never dreamed of occupying. It could be a reconciliation that seemed impossible. It could be an unexpected promotion, a financial turnaround, a sudden healing, a family reunion that seals something that had been broken for years. When that day arrives, and it will arrive, the garment calling to you today will be exactly what you need to wear, and then you will understand once and for all that heaven already knew. Heaven always knew. Heaven prepared you in silence, led you without fanfare, chose you without you even realizing you were being set apart. But there is a detail that changes everything. Heaven does not work alone. Heaven works through you. If you ignore the sign, if you rationalize the impulse, if you postpone the purchase saying, I don't have the money now, I don't have an occasion now, I don't have a reason now, you may be postponing the manifestation of the invitation in the physical realm along with it. Because the sign of the new garment is also a test of obedience. The Almighty wants to see if you hear when He whispers. The Almighty wants to see if you move when He points. The Almighty wants to see if you obey before you understand. Because the greatest mark of a chosen one is not the number of revelations they receive, but the speed with which they move before a subtle sign. And subtle are almost all of the Almighty's signs. He rarely shouts. He almost always whispers. And the true chosen are those who have learned to hear the whisper amidst the noise of the world. There are also those moments, chosen one, in which other people will try to dissuade you. They will say, "But you just bought a garment, why another?" They will say that is unnecessary spending. They will say, "You have nothing important coming up, you are throwing money away." And this is where another test comes in. Are you willing to seem strange in the eyes of the world, to honor a sign that came from above? Are you willing to buy the garment even without knowing how to rationally explain the reason to anyone around you? Because the chosen have always been misunderstood by those around them. Noah built an ark when there was no sign of rain and was ridiculed for years. Abraham left his land without knowing where he was going and was considered mad. David wore too much armor and took it off, chose 5 smooth stones and went to face a giant, and almost all of Israel laughed behind his back. The chosen have always had to walk amidst the misunderstanding of others, and perhaps you are living this right now, within your own home, in silence, with no one to support you. But I came here to tell you, continue. The sign is real, the invitation is real, the celebration is coming. And this small test of obedience is just the gateway to something much greater. And here, in the middle of this revelation, I need to reinforce once again why this ebook exists. Because everything I am telling you now, and everything I am still going to tell you in this last part of the video, is expanded with depth in the pages of the manual of those chosen by the Almighty to protect the family. This ebook shows you not only the external signs like the new garment, but also the internal signs, the voices that try to dissuade you, the thoughts planted by spiritual enemies, the doubts that appear exactly when you are about to obey a calling. It teaches you to distinguish the whisper of heaven from the noise of the enemies. It gives you specific prayers to seal each time a sign. "I am chosen and I will download the ebook," appears, so that nothing and no one can erase what the Almighty is doing in your house. He explains how to protect your celebration before it even arrives, how to shield your family from the heavy eyes of those who do not want to see you dressed in honor, and how to accurately recognize the exact moment when the time of the Almighty manifests. The link is in the first pinned comment, at the top of the comments. This content has been the target of silencing attempts for a long time, and the window to download it is not always open. Do not take that risk. Download it now and comment once more, "I am chosen and I will download the ebook." Each time you declare this, you are reinforcing a pact that will produce visible effects in a few days. Now, with this triply sealed pact, I can give you the most disturbing truth of this video, the one that changes everything, the one that explains why this celebration doesn't just involve you. Because there is something I left for the end, chosen one, and it will impact you deeply when you understand it. The celebration of honor being prepared for you does not just involve your life. It involves your house. It involves your family. It involves entire generations that will be touched the moment you rise, dressed for the first time in that garment that heaven indicated to you. Because when a chosen one rises, he does not rise alone. He pulls behind him children, parents, siblings, nephews, relatives who were asleep in the spiritual, relatives who were trapped in old cycles, relatives who needed someone in the family to receive an honor so that the curse weighing on everyone would finally be broken. Did you know that? Did you know that your calling is also the liberation of people around you who don't even realize they depend on you spiritually? That is why the sign of the new garment is so serious. That is why heaven insists so much. That is why this urge does not pass, does not go away, does not leave you in peace. Because it is not just you who is being summoned. It is an entire lineage that will be elevated when you wear that piece and cross the portal of the next phase. And that is exactly why the enemy works so hard to try to stop you, because he knows that if you wear it, if you obey, if you show up to the celebration with the right garment, he will lose not only you. He will lose entire families who are under your spiritual covering. Children not yet born will be free because of the step you take this week. Grandchildren who are still in the plan of the Almighty will be reached because of your obedience today. That is why the battle is so intense. That is why there are moments when you feel the whole world conspiring against your next victory. That is why there are days when everything seems to collapse exactly when you are closest to a turning point. It is no coincidence. It is the enemy's desperation trying to make you back down before the summons is fulfilled. But I came here to tell you one more thing. The enemy only has the strength to blow. The one who has the strength to lift is the Almighty. And the Almighty already lifted you the moment you were born, because you were not born by chance. You were born with a specific purpose, with a sealed calling, with an honor reserved in the agenda of heaven. Everything that happened in your life until today was training. Every pain was school. Every loss was preparation. Every sleepless night was formation for the moment when you would be able to carry the garment of glory without letting the weight knock you down, because glory weighs, honor weighs. Those who were not prepared in silence cannot bear the brightness of the celebration. And you were prepared. That is why this desire is arriving now. That is why this sign is intensifying now. That is why this video appeared on your screen today. It is not an algorithm, it is a summons. Now pay attention to one more detail that will seal the understanding. When you go to buy this garment, and you will buy it, pay attention to who appears at this moment, who calls you, who phones you, who meets you on the way to the store, who comments. Regarding what you are wearing, watch who reacts. Because heaven also uses this moment to show you who is a friend and who is an enemy, who rejoices at your turn to shine and who is visibly bothered when they see you being elevated. That is also part of the sign. Note the names mentally, not to harbor resentment but to understand the terrain, because from the moment you are clothed by heaven, certain relationships will need to change. Certain people will naturally drift away because their frequency no longer matches yours. And other new people will arrive, people aligned with your new position, people who will embrace you at the new level. Do not try to hold on to those who are leaving. Do not try to force those who do not belong. Heaven is clearing the environment so you can fit entirely into the honor that is coming. Another revelation that few know. The new garment of a chosen one always comes accompanied by a new name. Not necessarily a different name on your ID, but a new name in the spiritual realm. A different way heaven refers to you from the moment you obey. Abram became Abraham after obedience. Jacob became Israel after the struggle. Simon became Peter after the encounter. Saul became Paul after the fall. When heaven clothes you, heaven renames you. You start being called something else in the higher dimensions, and this new name carries authority, carries the opening of doors, carries favor with people who previously didn't even see you. That is why, after you purchase this garment, expect a sequence of apparent coincidences. Expect to be noticed in environments where you were previously invisible. Expect to be remembered in conversations where you were previously forgotten. Expect to be invited to tables where you once only observed from afar. That is the manifestation of the new name working in your favor. And finally, the hardest but most liberating truth of all. The celebration of honor being prepared for you is also the definitive end of a phase. It is the farewell to who you have been until now. It is the burial of that old version that kept apologizing, diminishing itself, settling for crumbs. The new garment does not match the old soul. Therefore, the moment you put it on, something inside you will die. And it needs to die. The old guilt must die. The fear of being seen must die. The shame of taking up space must die. The belief that you are not worthy must die. Because the garment that heaven sends only fits those who accept they deserve to wear it. And you deserve it, chosen one. You were chosen. You were set apart. You were marked. You were summoned. And this impulse, this desire that seemed as small as buying a dress or a suit, is nothing less than heaven's solemn notice that your time has arrived. There is nothing more to wait for. There is nothing more to postpone. There is nothing more to justify. The invitation has been signed. The celebration has been scheduled. The garment is ready. All that is missing is for you to take the step in the physical that confirms what has already been done in the spiritual. But listen to the final warning, because without this warning, the revelation remains incomplete. There is a very specific moment within the timing of the Almighty when the garment needs to be bought. It is not a generic tomorrow. It is not when you can. There is a window, and this window has a beginning and an end. That is why this desire is so strong right now. It is not a whim of impulse. It is the urgency of time. Because heaven works with kairos, not chronos. Kairos is the right time, the exact moment, the appointed hour. And you are within a kairos now. If you obey within this window, everything accelerates. If you delay, the window closes. And heaven does not revoke the invitation, but reschedules. And rescheduling means waiting all over again. Rescheduling means crossing a desert again that you could have already crossed. Do you want to cross it again? Or are you ready to close this phase now, once and for all? Another important thing, when you go to the store or when you buy it online, doubt will appear. It is guaranteed. It will appear a thought saying, I don't need this. Financial guilt will appear even when you have the money. Comparison with other priorities will emerge. This noise is exactly the enemy trying to snatch the peace from your hands before it reaches you. Ignore it. Do not dialogue with doubt. Do not argue with the thief. Simply complete the purchase with a firm heart, declaring in a low voice, this garment is for the honor that heaven has prepared for me. This garment is my uniform of calling. This garment marks the beginning of my new phase. When you do this, the piece of clothing is no longer just fabric. It becomes an altar, it becomes a seal, it becomes an instrument, and what seemed like a common purchase becomes the deepest act of obedience you have practiced in recent years. There is also something to be said about the place where you will keep this piece. Do not throw it in with the others. Hang it separately. Reserve a specific space. Treat it as what it is, a consecrated piece. And until the day you wear it, pray over it at least once. Lay your hands on it. Say, I receive the honor that comes with this piece. I receive the invitation it represents. I receive the celebration it announces, and I declare that my entire family is honored along with me. This simple attitude transforms the spiritual realm around you in a way that few people can understand. Finally, let me deliver to you the last layer of this revelation. The new garment is also a visible prophecy to the eyes of heaven. When you wear it, the angels see. When you prepare yourself, the heavenly courts take notice. When you obey, the record of your name is stirred in books you cannot reach. And when that record is stirred, your life changes on levels that even your mind cannot project. It is not just a specific celebration being prepared. It is an entirely new chapter. And that chapter begins with a garment. It may seem too small to change so much, but that is exactly how heaven works. Small things in the physical, giants in the spiritual, a stone in the sling of David, a fish in the hand of a child, a jar of oil in the house of a widow, a tunic on the shoulder of the lost son. Heaven has always moved through small objects charged with great meaning, and today, in your life, that object is the clothing that has been calling to you. Do not despise the small. Do not belittle the subtle. Do not ignore what seems too simple, because it is exactly in the simple that the Almighty hides greatness. And when you obey, you will understand that this clothing was not just clothing. It was the key. It was the sign. It was the beginning. It was the portal to a phase in which everything in your life begins to make sense for the first time. Everything you went through gains context. Everything you lost gains purpose. Everything you dreamed of begins to materialize. And you will look back dressed in the garment of honor and you will say, it was all necessary for me to get here. This moment is closer than it seems. Perhaps this very week. Perhaps this very month. Heaven is warning you now so you are not caught off guard. And it is for all this, chosen one, that I need to make this last appeal to you before ending this video. Do not leave here without downloading the e-book manual of those chosen by the Almighty to protect the family, because everything I have delivered to you today is only a fraction of what is inside these pages. This e-book deepens each of these layers. The signs of the new garment, the meaning of colors, the times of the Almighty, the traps of the enemy, the specific prayers to seal the coming celebration, and especially the complete spiritual protection for your family to go through this phase without being touched by any force that tries to delay the honor that is coming. This ebook teaches you to discern every sign that comes after this one, because the sign of the new garment is only the first in a sequence that accelerates after you obey. You have been moved by heaven for a long time. This video is just one more of the attempts by the Father to remind you of who you are. But the ebook is the organized, complete, and profound continuation of what could only be touched upon here. The link is pinned in the first comment, right at the top. I do not know how long it will be available. There are narratives that are deeply bothered by this content, and attempts at silencing are frequent. Do not take that risk. Download it now, even if it is before watching another video, even if it is before closing the app. And comment one last time. With the strength of what you have just received, I am chosen and I will download the ebook. This final comment is the definitive seal. It is the pact confirmed. It is the record in heaven that you heard, understood, and obeyed. You did not arrive here by chance. You were led to this video, to this word, to this moment, and now you know what to do. The garment is calling you. The celebration is scheduled. Heaven is ready. And you, chosen one, are ready as well. Get dressed. Appear. Celebrate. Because your honor has already left the throne, it is descending, and nothing and no one will prevent this encounter. Except, of course, yourself. Do not be the obstacle. Say yes, comment, download, obey. And may the peace of the one who chose you fill you now, clothe you in glory, and lead you to the place where your story has always wanted to take you. You are chosen. Believe it. And we will see you on the other side of this celebration.